Here is candidate Donald Trump apologizing for the Access Hollywood video, which he is now trying to tell some people is fake.
This was locker room talk. I'm not proud of it. I apologize to my family. I apologize to the American people. Certainly, I'm not proud of it, but this is locker room talk.
Joining us now, Dan Rather, who thought he'd seen everything until this weekend. He is the former anchor of CBS Evening News. He's currently the host of AXS TV's The Big Interview and the author of the new book, What Unites Us? Reflections on Patriotism. Dan, thank you very much for being here. And this is a space that is, this takes Trumpian pathological lying to a new place. The idea that he's publicly apologized for these words several times last year, now trying to say it never happened.
Well, this is why I keep saying, and it's true, this is not normal. We're better than this. We as people are better than this, to accept this at all. That, look, previous presidents have made big mistakes. Yes, previous presidents sometimes have lied, but none has relentlessly, so consistently lied, and I use the word measuredly, as this president has done. And here again is proof positive. But there's something within Donald Trump that has convinced him, no doubt the election itself, that he can get away with it. That he can say a few months ago, I apologize for it, it was locker room talk, and then begin saying, well, you know, in essence, they doctored the tape. I was interested that the company which owns the tape put out tonight saying the tape is what the tape is. That we've moved into, at least President Trump is trying to move us into an Orwellian space where truth doesn't matter, and the opposite of truth is truth. Now, for any thinking person who voted for Donald Trump or somebody who cannot stand the Democratic Party, whatever, I mean, you have to see this clearly, that if we ever move completely into the post-truth political era, an era where facts don't matter, what somebody said before doesn't matter, then we're in deeper trouble than we imagine. But we haven't reached that point yet. I have such confidence in the American people, Lawrence, that I think people see through this. Now, that begs the question, then why does roughly a third, better than a third of the country continue to stick with him? And I don't have an answer to that
Well,
question.
A lot of that seems to have to do with when I talk to Trump voters, because I know Trump voters who would agree with us about the Access Hollywood video and Trump's response to it now, but would say, look, Neil Gorsuch is the most important thing that this president could have done, and that's what I want. I want that Supreme Court justice. And so I've heard that kind of defense of him. I want to go to something he said that I know you're concerned about the news media this weekend, because he keeps finding new heights in this kind of thing. He did a tweet on Saturday saying, Fox News is much more important in the United States than CNN, but outside of the U.S., CNN International is still a major source of fake news, and they represent our nation to the world very poorly. The outside world does not see the truth from them. That provoked something that we've also never seen before. General Michael Hayden, former director of the CIA and the NSA, saying, if this is who we are and who we are becoming, I have wasted 40 years of my life. Until now, it was not possible for me to conceive of an American president capable of such an outrageous assault on truth, a free press, or the First Amendment.
This is not who we are. It is not who we are becoming. We are better than this. It may be hard to see at this moment, but no president is stronger than the people of the country as a whole. The tone and tenor of this presidency is, there's no other word for it, is awful. That, you know, what I think the public is aching for, even people who are diametrically opposed to President Trump or his political affiliation and his policy matters, would say, we're looking for a president, we expect a president to be sensitive, to be knowledgeable, to be caring. You don't get that. And you call this the worst weekend for any president in the history of the country. And I haven't checked all the way back, but I think
the worst Thanksgiving weekend.
Worst Thanksgiving weekend. And I think that's probably true. But there is,
when you consider what other presidents have done, including visit troops and you know, feed them Thanksgiving dinner, and you look at what he's doing with these crazy tweets on that weekend.
Well, and this president is the White House today, where it was designed to honor the Navajo people who helped break the code during World War II. It's supposed to be about them. Instead, he takes off and uses a childlike and derogatory term to describe one of his political opponents, Senator Warren. But I keep coming back, Lawrence. We're better than this, and we know that we're better than this.
Well, the polls indicate that. There's a vast majority disapproval for the things we're talking about tonight in the polls.
Well, and I think that trend will continue unless he changes, and I am now convinced. I had hope when he first came in that he would make at least some shift toward being president of all the people. But we're now almost a year into his presidency, not quite, and it's very obvious he is not going to change.
Can I go back to your use of the word lie, because you've been at this business long enough to know how important a word that is in news communication. I'm thinking back to your coverage of the Nixon administration, which ended in a resignation by the president on the verge of impeachment. I was in college, I guess, for the beginning of that, and for the end of that, and I don't remember the use of the word lie. I mean, I think it might have come out only when proven in under oath testimony that there was a lie. That's the only time I could remember in the New York Times or you referring to something that the president has said as a lie.
Even during that time, I don't recall the word lie being used. I don't recall using it. I don't recall anybody at CBS News using it. And I think it does tell you how the presidency, that again the tone and tenor has gone down to the point now that early on I did say, and without apology, we should start calling a lie an outright lie. Even during the Nixon time, though, we used words like untruth, sophistry was sometimes used, but the word lie was considered, I would say, most legitimate news operations steered away from it.
Well, it's a hard word to prove, except in the case of Donald Trump, where it's easy to prove.
A very hard word, because you can tell something is not true, but if you believe it to be true, it's not a lie. But with President Trump, the unrelenting, the consistent lying commands a different standard for today.
It does. Dan Rather, thank you very much for joining us. I really appreciate it. Really great to have you here.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.